So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at taking all your power chords you learn on the E and A strings, and we're going to take those and bring them into different keys. So I'm going to bring the camera down and let's get started. Alright, so this is going to be the very first part. It's going to be broken up into two different parts. So let's review all your power chords in E and A. Here's my F, over and down, G down, A down, B down, C down, E down, D down, E down, F, over and down. Now, when we go into different keys, this F, where it goes over and down, well, it's not going to be an F. It's not going to be every time you come to an F, it's going to be over and down. It's all, that positioning is going to all depend on what key you're in. So one of the things before we get started there is I just want to show you something where when we go through all these, there's one spot, which is right here, where we have these half steps that are stacked on top of each other. This is what I call the root block. And your root, coming from you looking down at your guitar neck, is in the upper right hand corner of that root block. There's your root. That's C in this position. Now, this is going to be really important later on when we turn all of this into different patterns. Because eventually what you want to do is not have to use, like right now we're going to use our major scale to figure out what the chords are within the key. Later on we're going to look at patterns, and that's when the root block is really going to come into play. So the best way for me to explain how this works is to go into a different key right off the bat. We're going to go in the key of G major. So you should already know, if you want to play a major scale, you just go up one whole step, two whole step, three whole step, and then one whole step, two whole step, up a half step, and one whole step, two whole step, three whole steps, and up a half step. Of course, works the same way with power chords. One whole step, two whole step, half step, one whole step, two whole step, three whole step, and a half step. Whole half, whole half. So what we're going to do is start here. By the way, you have your root block right here. We're going to start right here, and then we're going to play our E and A string chords. So our starting point, your power chord in the A string is right below. You go up one whole step, located right below, two whole steps. A string chord is right below. Now this first half step point, our whole half, when we go to that second note in our half step point, that's where our diagonal is located, where you have to go over and down. Again, we start point right here, straight down, one whole step, straight down, two whole steps, straight down, and a half step. That's where you go over and down. So best bet to do from here at this point is go back to this note again, and then you go up one whole step, and later on when you get better at it, you can go, okay, here's a half step, that's over and down, then you'll be able to jump right to this note right here, or this chord, and that'll be one whole step. But in the beginning, it might be just better if you're doing this. Go back to this note again so you don't get confused. And you go up one whole step, goes directly down, two whole steps, directly down, three whole steps, directly down, and then our half step, which brings us right to the beginning. Again, there's our root block. So there you go. There is your chords in the key of G major. There's also these chords too, but we'll talk about that another time. So let's take another key. Let's take a key of A major. We'll just go up to A. straight down the starting point, 1 whole step, straight down, 2 whole steps, straight down. Our first half step point, that's where we go over and down. And then I'm going to just jump over here. That'd be 1 whole step, because if we went back here, see right there, we go backwards, we go up 1 whole step. But again, you can go, get used to it. That'd be 1 whole step, straight down, 2 whole steps, straight down, 3 whole steps, straight down, and a half step. Yep, and that's all you do on there. It doesn't matter, you can just pick an in-between note here. Let's take F sharp. 1 whole step, straight down, 2 whole steps, straight down, half step, over and down. And then again, we could go back over here and go 1 whole step, down, 2 whole steps, down, 3 whole steps, down, and then a half step, straight down. And one common mistake is people see this extra half step here, and it's like, oh, half step, I gotta go over and down. No, remember, it's only at the first half step point. That's where you go over and down. The rest of them, you go over here. This one is the second half step point. This is at the end of our whole half, whole, then half, which brings us back to the beginning. That little area, no, you don't go over. It goes straight down. So here's that. Go over a half step, and that's straight down. This is, again, that forms our root block. And really, that is it for this particular one. What you want to do is work on that. Make sure you're solid going up. And then what we'll do is we'll do this in reverse. And eventually in another lesson, what we're going to do is going to start looking at these as patterns. And that's when the root block is really going to become really important. So, yeah, work on this stuff. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in part 2. All right, see you there.